Yes. Good morning, everyone. Is my voice clear? Actually, my internet is a bit slow today. So, is there any buffer in the audio or everything is clear? Clear? My voice is clear? Am I audible or not, everyone? Just wait a second. Let me just reconnect it. Yes. Am I audible now, everyone? Okay. So, let's wait for 2 3 minutes. The PPT is moving. Then we'll start. Yeah, so now everything is fine. Let's start now. So everyone just join the session in the first 10 minutes only, okay? Otherwise your attendance will not be captured on this app. What is the strength of B1 plus B2? Gaurav? Okay, so we were seeing the sequence diagram, right? Today we will finish that. Nothing much is left. Till collaboration diagram is your mid-sem syllabus, okay? Sequence diagram we are doing. After that, we will finish collaboration diagrams, and till that point is your mid-sem syllabus. So we were seeing the interaction diagrams. So in the interaction diagram, you had two types of diagrams: collaboration sequence. We were seeing the sequence diagrams, right? So this was the example of collaboration diagram. We will see this after the sequence diagrams. So this was our sequence diagrams. Okay, these are our participants. They can be objects, actors, or anything. Okay, these are the timelines. These are the activation bars. Okay, this shows that during the whole lifeline of this object, the object was activated only in this part of the time. Then you have seen different kinds of messages, right? Synchronous messages accept a written message. Means whenever you will send a synchronous message, you are expecting a reply from the receiver. Then these are the example of self messages. Then these are your recursive messages. Fine. Then if someone has sent you a message but you don't know who has sent you the message, that is known as found message. Okay. And if you send a message to someone and that gets lost in the midway, it is known as a lost message. These two you are not going to use anywhere in the diagram majorly, but you should know these also exist. Like for example, this is the example of a sequence diagram. We have a student who is an actor. He's not an object. He's an actor. Okay, that is why I have said that in the rectangular box you can write any participant, not necessarily an object. Fine. Then this is a. Achha, just tell me in the before this registrar system there are two dots. After this registrar system is written. So what is this? What is this participant called? ये है क्या? Jैसे this student is an actor. What is this registrar system? Same with the security system also. You have two colons before the security system. So what is this called? ये participant को क्या बोलते हैं? ये object है, class है, actor है. What is this? Object तो ऐसे होता है ना. You write the object name, then you put semicolon or this colon symbol, and then you write the class name. This is the normal representation for an object. You write an object name like this, or you can simply write the object like this, and you don't have to put any colons and write the class name. So these are the two representations for the objects. But यहाँ पे here this registrar system is written on the right hand side of the colon. तो object कैसे हो? Object तो colon के left hand side में लिखा रहता है ना object का नाम. This is the representation, right? You write object name, then you put two colons, and then you write the class name. In this diagram here, after the colon on the right hand side, the registrar system is written. After the colon on the right hand side, security system is written. So definitely this is the object. But what is the object name? Is any object name mentioned? Anonymous. Right. These are the anonymous instances of your class. Okay. The registrar system is a class. It is written on the right hand side of the colon. If something is written on the right, because this is the normal representation, right? You write object name, then you put two colons, then you write the class name. If you see these two, after the colon, it is written registrar system. After the colon, it is written security system. So means these are the class names and no object name is mentioned. So these are the anonymous instances of your class. Means there is no object name for the class registrar system object and for the security system object. Got it? Clear? Everyone? So इसका ध्यान रखना क्या है? For example, here also, this database, if you see clearly, if you see this database clearly, यहाँ पे भी semicolon इसमें दिख नहीं रहा होगा. I think तुम लोगों को screen पे in the PPT just watch is that after the colon it is written on the right hand side. that this is database. So means database is a class name, and this is the object definitely, but this is an anonymous instance, or this object doesn't have any name simply. इसका नाम नहीं है इस object का कोई. Database is not the object name. Just keep that thing in mind. Okay, and with this we have seen that a participant can create another participant also. Now see this database record, ये किसी colon के left या right में नहीं है. So this is the direct object name. This is the object name, database record. Fine. So this anonymous instance of the database class, or this anonymous object, or this object which was not having any name, this object created a new object, that is database record. So this, for this we can use create message. इसकी जगह asynchronous message भी use कर सकते हैं with the create stereotype, and then you can expect a reply, or you can normally use a synchronous message also if you want, but that doesn't make much sense. कोई भी use कर सकते हैं, but you have the power of the stereotype, so you write the name as create, so that will be interpreted as a create message. Okay, for example, this you can create a message like this also, and this is the destroy message. If you send the destroy message, it will destroy the lifeline of this object database record. Means now this database record has been destroyed. अब इसके आगे इसकी lifeline नहीं है. Then we have seen three more types. For example, these are your different participants. If you want to have user interface, user is working on some user interface, you want to access some input output device, you will use this boundary. If you want to show that I have this control system who is monitoring my whole sequence diagram, पूरे sequence diagram को कोई चीज control कर रही है, so that controller you can give in the hands of this control symbol. Entity means if you are accessing any table, any data, anything from a file, that could be an entity. It can be an object also, or not object, it can be some non-living things also. For example, it can be an order also. Okay, it can be a book also, anything it can be. So it depends how you want to show. For example, this, okay, this order screen is your user interface. Whenever a user wants to place an order on Amazon or Flip, the screen, the front screen, the laptop screen that the user sees is your user interface, right, on which the user will work. So that can be represented with the help of a boundary, and the order that will be created, that can be represented with the help of an entity. Okay, see here, this cart item, again this is a, after the dot or the colon, it is written on the right hand side. So this means this is the object definitely, but this object doesn't have any name, and this object is of the class cart item. This object is of the class shopping cart. अगर इस colons नहीं होते यहाँ पे, then you would have directly said that this is the object whose name is shopping cart. इस object का नाम ही तब shopping cart होता है. Then we have seen, तो इतना तो normal basic interaction sequence diagrams था. But suppose you want to provide some conditions, if else conditions, for conditions, looping conditions, anything you want to perform, then you can use these interaction frames. Okay, these interaction frames, these are known as interaction frames. कहीं कहीं fragments भी लिखा होता है, anything you can call it as. Okay, this is a rectangular box with the operator on the top left hand side. This operator you will change and the meaning of this box will change. For example, if you want to loop, इसके अंदर जो भी बना रहेगा वो loop हो रहा है, बार बार repeat हो रहा है, so you will write loop here. इसके अंदर जो भी लिखा है, because in a sequence diagram messages are sent sequentially, right? जो top पे message वो पहले send हुआ है, जो bottom में message वो second number पे send हुआ है. But if you want to send two messages parallelly, कि दोनों messages एक साथ send हो, so you can write pair in the operator, और उस messages के around ये rectangular box बना दोगे, so that will be interpreted as a parallel message. इसके example देखेंगे अभी. Like this. This was my whole sequence diagram. उसमें किसी एक part में I have made this loop. एक rectangular box बनाया, operator की जगह I have written loop. So और ये whatever you write in this square brackets, this is known as a guard condition, means normal condition. जैसे एक्टिविटी डायग्राम में भी कंडीशन थी, है ना? इफ इन एक्टिविटी डायग्राम यू रीच एनी डिसीजन पॉइंट, यहाँ पे गार्ड कंडीशन ले देती है, यहाँ जाए यहाँ जाए, सो सेम गार्ड कंडीशन इज हियर. दिस मींस दैट दिस लूप विल बी रिपीटेड टिल यू हैव लिस्टिंग्स. मतलब जब तक you are getting more listings, you will keep on repeating this thing again and again and again. When this guard condition will be false, when the listings will be over, then you will come out of this loop and you will start performing this message sequence, or this interaction will be performed there. Okay, so these are some kind of the operators. For example, alt, this example we have discussed last time, right? This is alternative. This is if else. If this condition is true, you do this. Else, if that condition is false, you do that. So this is kind of if else. If you want to provide some loop, you will use loop. Negative means this is an interaction, you shouldn't have come here, you go out of this. This can be used for exception handling, etc., that you should not come in this interaction. Optional is if. Okay, means only if this condition is true you do this, but what if this condition is false, you don't tell it. यहाँ पे else नहीं आएगा, यहाँ पे nested ifs नहीं आएंगे, यहाँ पे सिर्फ एक ही if होगा. If that condition is true you do that, if that condition is false you go out of the loop. Okay, pair is for if you want to show that these messages are sent parallelly, you can use pair. Difference is suppose you have made a interaction, you have this whole sequence diagram, इसमें से किसी एक part में you have made a interaction frame, this rectangular box, और उसके top पे लिख दिया reference dot कहीं और interaction diagram का नाम. So this means that this interaction frame, इसके अंदर जो चीज हो रही है वो कहीं और से आई हुई है या वो कहीं और जा रही है. Okay, you can send this, you have received this part of your whole sequence diagram from some other diagram, or you are sending this part of your sequence diagram to some other diagram. मतलब reference की तरह यूज कर रहे हो. Just like you can use a reference variable, उस तरह इसको यूज कर सकते हो, यूज नहीं पड़ेगा. The most important is going to be your alt, loop, opt and pair. ये important है, बाकी बस पता होना चाहिए, but diagram में you are not going to use it anywhere. Okay, region is also for exception handling. Okay, for example, this is a critical region, you should not come here. Fine. SD, if your whole sequence diagram you want to say that no, अभी तक ये सारी चीजें क्या हो रही है, these are applied on a part of your sequence diagram. पूरे sequence diagram में किसी छोटे से part में you are applying either loop or alt or opt. But if you want to apply a loop on the full sequence diagram, पूरा का पूरा sequence diagram ही बार बार repeat हो रहा है, then you can use this SD. पूरे diagram के around बनाएंगे. So this also we have discussed. So everyone clear till this point? किसी को कोई doubt, परेशानी, दिक्कत? Clear? Siddhesh, Mrinal, Sai. Everyone clear, right? Okay. Bharat, Gaurav, Priyanshi. Divya. Okay, so till this point is clear, right? Now let's see one of सबके examples देख लेते हैं एक बार, then your sequence diagram will be open. Sequence diagram. इसका एग्जांपल देखेंगे अभी राज. We will pair is for parallel messages. सबके एग्जांपल देखेंगे अभी, जो बताया तो theoretical बताया, इसके एग्जांपल्स we will see. Right now we are just going to see. First let's see the opt or the optional. Okay, so what is this? This is if this condition is true, then you do this. There is no else. Okay, for example, suppose you have a sequence diagram like this. So this is the anonymous instance of a sales class, or means this is an object जिसका कोई नाम नहीं है. This sales object or this object from this sales class is sending some message to the accounts department that please tell me my due balance, whatever balance is due. Okay, then the accounts department replies with the due balance, that this is your due balance. Then this sales object or the object from the sales class will only send the message to this fulfillment object only if the due balance is 0. Means ये हमेशा interaction नहीं भेजेगा, ये हमेशा इससे interact नहीं करेगा. This sales object or this participant 1, 2, 3, this participant 1 will interact with participant 3 only when a certain condition is true, and the condition is only when this past due balance is 0, then he will send the message. तो जब ये इंटरेक्शन फ्रेम्स नहीं थे, इंटरेक्शन फ्रेम्स हैज कम फ्रॉम UML 2.2, तब आप कैसे कर सकते थे? You can write the guard condition here only. For example, like this. You can send the message from sales to the fulfillment, and you can write the guard condition in the square brackets that only if my past due balance is 0, then I will send the message from sales to fulfillment. So this is good for 1 or 2 messages, right? But if you have hundreds or say 10 or 15 messages even, so हर 10 या 15 लाइन के ऊपर ऐसे guard condition बनाना is a hectic task, right? So that is why we will go for the loops or the interaction frames basically. For example, suppose the same example again, that this sales is first sending the message to the accounts that please tell me my due balance. Then the account replies him with his due balance. Then if and only if the due balance is 0, then these messages will be sent. 3, 4, 5, 6. These interactions will take place only when the due balance is 0. Otherwise, you will come from here to directly here. This is the condition. अब पहला ऑप्शन ये है कि आप सबके ऊपर ऐसे गार्ड कंडीशन लिखो कि पास ड्यू बैलेंस इज 0, पास ड्यू बैलेंस इज 0, ऐसे सबके ऊपर लिखो. दिस इज द फर्स्ट ऑप्शन दैट यू हैव एंड दैट इज फाइन आल्सो. गलत नहीं है, गलत नहीं हो जाएगा. But the better alternative is you use this interaction frame, this rectangular box, and you put the operator name. यहाँ पे operator लिखते थे top left hand side में. इसकी जगह you write the operator as opt, means optional, means this frame is optional. You will only enter this frame only if the condition is past due balance is equal to 0. So the first condition will be checked, that if past balance is 0 means you don't have any due balance, then you will enter and you will perform all the interactions. If this condition is false, you will directly come out. But if you see clearly, this optional is saying that if due balance is 0, you do this. But if due balance is not 0, it is not saying you that you do some other thing, right? So that is optional. It is only if condition. There is no else condition here. कि अगर ये कंडीशन गलत हो जाए if के साथ वाली, then what you have to do, it is not explained here. That will be explained with the help of alternative. As the name suggests, alternative. Now you will have two conditions. If ये condition सही है तो आप ये काम करो, अगर ये condition गलत है तो आप ये काम करो. तो आपकी जो interaction frame बनेगा हमारा, that will be divided into two parts. For example, if the condition is true, यहाँ पे जो interaction हो रहे हैं वो करो. Else, if the condition is false, यहाँ पे जो interaction हो रहे हैं वो करो. Okay, for example, take this example. Okay, there is a bank, there is a charge, there is a account. Bank is, suppose this is the server or something. Bank is sending a message that please tell me my account. So the response came that this is your account. Now based on the account, based on this parameter, I am going to perform some tasks. Okay, for example, see here, this is the alternative. ये पूरा frame एक alternative का frame है. I have told you there will be a distinction. यहाँ पे एक line होगी. The condition that it is saying is if amount is less than equal to credit limits minus balance. अगर ये condition true है तो ये जो आपके तीन participants है, बैंक, चार्ज एंड क्रेडिट अकाउंट, इनके बीच में ऐसा इंटरेक्शन होगा. ये बैंक है, ये चार्ज है, ये क्रेडिट अमाउंट है. If this condition is true, if this condition is true, you will perform these interactions. ये लोग ऐसे interact करेंगे आपस में. Else, if this condition is not true, then you will perform this interaction. Clear, everyone? एक से ज्यादा if else आते जाएंगे तो ऐसी और बॉक्स बनाते जाओगे. समझ गए ऑप्ट और ऑल्ट में क्या डिफरेंस? राइट. नाउ लेट्स सी लूप. इसका एग्जांपल पहले भी हमने देख लिया. लेट्स सी इट अगेन. ओके, फॉर एग्जांपल सपोज यू हैव दिस इनबॉक्स object of an inbox class and you have this clerk object from the employee class who is our actor. So suppose this is the clerk of a bank and this is his inbox. So whenever some message comes in the inbox, the clerk processes that message or process the form. So this will not happen only once, right? This representation is showing that whenever something is in the inbox, the clerk processes that, but it is happening only once. But this is not the real life situation. Whenever some message comes in the input in the inbox again, then again this has to be repeated. This has to be repeated for all the messages in the inbox. So what we can do, we can put a frame around this part that is going to repeat, and we can put the operator name as loop. So this will suggest that the thing that are mentioned or drawn inside this interaction frame, that will be repeated again and again. For example, this. So I wanted that this process form should not be only for one message. If suppose in the inbox you have 10 messages from 10 different clients. So for all the clients, the clerk should process the form, not only for the one client. So this process form message has to be repeated again and again. Right? So I have drawn a rectangular box or this interaction frame or this fragments, whatever you can call it as, and the operator name I have mentioned as loop. That this is going to be looped again and again. And obviously you can, this is like for, right? This is just like for or while you can say. And normal programming जैसे conditions होती हैं. And this is your conditions. ये loop कब तक चलेगा? जब तक inbox has another form. जब तक inbox में कोई भी एक form पड़ा हुआ है, you have to process the form. When the inbox will be empty, there are no more forms, you can come out of the loop directly here. So this is regarding the loop. Okay, clear everyone? Now suppose you have this sequence diagram. Okay, so we have seen that the time starts from here, t equal to 0, and it keeps on increasing. So the first is login, then the second message is authenticate, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, so on. Suppose what is happening here, this is the faculty class, this is the registrar system, and this is the security system. The faculty wants that I have to enter the student's grade. Okay, I have to enter the grades of the students on the portal, and then he has to calculate the average of the grades. So first the faculty logins, and the system in the background, the registrar system authenticates the login ID of the faculty, and it sends the authentication that okay, yes, your SAP ID is right, the faculty SAP ID is right, and faculty has logged in on the system. Now faculty has to input the grades of all the students. So first he will enter the grade of one student, the system will reply okay, true, you have entered. Then he has to enter the grade of second student, the system will reply true, okay, entered. Third, fourth, fifth, and so on and so forth. तो ये repeat होता जा रहा है. This part is getting repeated, right? Because this is not for one student, he has to enter for all the students. Then after that he has to finally calculate the average grades of the class. So tell me, if I want to draw an interaction frame in this diagram, obviously some part is repeating, right? This is not for a one student, this is for a number of students. So किस part में मैं बनाऊंगा interaction diagram? Suppose this is my part A, this is my part B, this is my part C, these two are my part D, these two are my part E, एंड ये पूरा का पूरा मिला के मेरा पार्ट एफ है. अब बताओ इंटरेक्शन फ्रेम जो मुझे लूप चलाना है वो किस पार्ट में चलाएंगे, सेंस किधर बनता है? दिस इज द एवरेज ग्रेड फॉर द क्लास. सौरभ, ये पूरी क्लास का एवरेज ग्रेड है. B, right? So only because this part is happening only once, the faculty will log in only once. एक बार authentication हो जाएगा, it will be fixed. Finally average grades will be calculated only once. The thing that is getting repeated is this part, right? That he has to input the grades of all the students. So the frame will be drawn here. यहाँ पे एक interaction frame draw करेंगे, इसके ऑपरेटर में लिखेंगे लूप, और गार्ड कंडीशन क्या देंगे? गार्ड कंडीशन भी तो देनी पड़ेगी स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट्स में. You can write this guard condition in normal English also. Okay, you can write in English that till no students left. You can write it like this also. Fine. Guard condition doesn't necessarily need to be in mathematical operator. You can write in normal natural language also. That will be fine. So in the guard condition, you can write till there are no students left. You have to enter the marks. Clear? Everyone? Now let's see pair. Okay. See this example for parallel Raj. Okay. So till now we have seen that in this sequence diagram, in any sequence diagram, you send one message. The message which is on the top is sent first, then this is sent second, then third, then fourth, and so on and so forth. Means messages are sent sequentially, right? But what if I want that no, I want to send two messages. I want to send login also, and I want to send some exit message also to this registrar system simultaneously. मतलब ये दोनों messages एक साथ जाने चाहिए. These two messages should be sent parallelly. So उसके लिए what we can do, we can create this parallel interaction frame. For example, suppose you have this thermostat. ये क्या है thermostat? What is this thermostat? See the diagram and tell me what is the thermostat. Yes, this is the control system. Kshitish, good. Control system है ना, तीन पढ़ा है ना, boundary, control system and entity. So circle with the arrow is your control system. Means this is the thing that is controlling your whole sequence diagram. Okay, for example, see here, this is a thermostat जो कि temperature control करेगा, ठीक है, heat on off करेगा. This will control the system. So this is your thermostat, which is a control system, and this is a furnace object, right? Now, first the thermostat is sending a message to this furnace that please tell me what is the heat of the house. कितनी heat है इस वक्त, furnace में कितनी heat है, right? Then furnace has to check that what is the heat, क्या है heat इस वक्त मेरे पास. तो thermostat is sending a, अभी इस बॉक्स को भूल जाओ, इस रेक्टेंगुलर बॉक्स को भूल जाओ. thermostat is checking the, first thermostat is sending a, ये क्या है, recursive message है, self message है. This is a recursive message, right? So furnace is sending a recursive message to itself that please turn off the flames. जितनी भी flames चल रही हैं सारी flames को turn off करो. उसके बाद he is saying that turn on the fan, and then based on that he is replying that this is the temperature of the house, or this is a warm house, or anything of that sort. But if you see this sequence diagram without this interaction diagram, अगर इस box को imagine मत करोगे, just visualize this sequence diagram without this interaction box, then you can see that the first message that is sent is this heat house, the second message that is sent is turn on flames, and the third message is turn off flames. Obviously with the numbering also you can see, but numbering का इतना importance नहीं है in a sequence diagram. Based on the positioning of the message, कौन सा top है कौन सा bottom है, we say this message is sent first, this message is sent second. So अगर ये interaction diagram या interaction box नहीं है यहाँ पे, interaction diagram नहीं, interaction frame I will say, if this frame is not here, then this means that this message is sent first, this message is sent second. But what this furnace object needs, both these messages should be sent parallelly. एक साथ ही दोनों काम होने चाहिए, दोनों ही रिकर्सिव मैसेज एक साथ सेंड होने चाहिए सिस्टम में, एक के बाद एक नहीं. जैसे ही फ्लेम्स ऑफ हो रही है तुरंत फैन ऑन होना चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं कि पहले सारी फ्लेम्स ऑफ करोगे फिर सारे फैन ऑन करोगे, ऐसा नहीं होना है. These two things are happening in parallel. So what we can do, we can create a parallel frame. अब इसका रिप्रेजेंटेशन देखो, so this is similar to alternative frame. जब हमने alternative frame बनाया, right, उसमें भी ऐसी dotted line थी, same this is alternative frame, right? जो if then वाला था, this condition is true, then you do this, else you do this. So this is the diagram for the alternative frame. So for parallel frame also you have the same diagrammatic representation. The only difference will come here is कि अब इस alternative की जगह इसको यहाँ से रब करके you will write pair here. उसका सिंपल सा मतलब ये हो जाएगा कि now बाकी same representation it will be there. Now it will means if you write pair here, it will mean then both these messages turn on flames and turn on fan, these are happening simultaneously. तुरंत एक साथ हो रही parallel messages हो रही, जैसे कि for यूज किया था एक्टिविटी डायग्राम में कि इधर और इधर एक साथ जा रहे हैं. The same thing is happening here, that these two messages are now sent parallelly. ये दोनों 2 और 3 नहीं, ये दोनों 2 और 2 हैं. Getting it? So this is the example of a parallel message. The same representation for an alternative, that same box will be used, only the operator name will be changed to pair. Okay, clear? Okay, so then now the last topic of the sequence diagram is obviously with the use case diagram. So we have seen in the very beginning that use cases are your basic abstract view of your system, right? You can draw a rough diagram. Suppose you have to make a software, so you can roughly create a basic abstract view of your whole software, that these are going to be my actors, they are going to perform these tasks. But a use case diagram doesn't shows you that whether this is happening first, this is happening second, this is happening third, or how this is happening, how this is happening, how this is happening, or whether this is interacting with this is interacting with this. Nothing is shown. Nothing is shown in a use case diagram. It just shows you that you have an actor, customer, who can pick up order, who can track a package, and he can reschedule a delivery. That's it. That's it for a use case diagram. How he is going to order a pickup, how he is going to track a package, how he is going to reschedule the delivery, we are not concerned. Then in the activity diagram, you have seen that all these use cases, for example, order pickup can have an activity diagram of its own, right? You can create an order pickups activity diagram. इसका खुद का activity diagram हो सकता है. दिस ट्रैक पैकेज कैसे ट्रैक करेंगे, दिस इज अ प्रोसेस, दिस इज अ एक्टिविटी, इसका खुद का एक एक्टिविटी डायग्राम हो सकता है। हाउ यू विल रीशेड्यूल द डिलीवरी, दिस इज अ एक्टिविटी, इसका खुद का एक एक्टिविटी डायग्राम हो सकता है। यस और नो? यस, राइट। Now same thing is with the sequence diagrams. Okay, for example, suppose, because use case diagrams are just an abstract view. Use case diagram is not telling me how this package is going to be tracked. For example, take this tracker package. The customer wants to perform a use case that is tracker package. But how this tracker package, how he will track his package? He has sent some courier based on courier ID, DTC courier number. He wants to track his package that kahan tak pahuncha hai abhi. How he is going to do, use case diagram will not tell us, right? But for this, we can create a sequence diagram that will show us the step-by-step process that how this is going to be performed. What are the participants that are going to perform in this UCS tracker package? How many participants will be there? How many objects will be there? How the user will interact with the system? How he will track a package? We can show it. Okay, for example, see this. This is for the track use case. Track the package. For the track package use case, I want to create a sequence diagram. So first, let's see how many participants you are going to have. First, obviously, there will be a customer जिसको अपना package track करना है, right? There will be a customer. Then there will be some web application or some website जिसके ऊपर जाके वो track करेगा अपना package, जिसके ऊपर वो अपनी tracking ID डालेगा, right? इसकी जगह और क्या बना सकते हैं? इसकी जगह create a boundary also that this is my user interface जिसके ऊपर वो काम कर रहा है. Anything. This is up to your imagination. How you want to imagine. The main task is you have to track a package. तो उसके लिए user has to go to a laptop. So that is why here it is mentioned as web application, that he has opened some web application. And finally, in the background, you have this entity that is tracking database. Database, okay, so that is represented using the help of a entity. कि सारा tracking, सारे orders की tracking ID, order details is stored here. So what this customer actor is doing, this is first sending the message that track package. I want to track my package. I want to perform this function to the web application, right? He will enter his tracking ID in the web application. Then based on that tracking ID, the web application will send the message to the tracking database entity. This is the entity in the background. He will send that this is the tracking ID of the user. Please tell me till which point his package has gone till date. Where is his package right now? Tell me the current location of the package. Then the tracking database based on the user ID will reply that this is the package location. Then that reply will be sent back to the customer that okay, you entered me this tracking ID and I'm giving you this current location. So this is how this use case of track a package will be performed here. अब इसकी जगह एक्टिविटी डायग्राम भी बना सकते थे, ऐसा नहीं है. ओके, इसकी जगह यू कुड हैव क्रिएटेड एक्टिविटी डायग्राम आल्सो, ट्रैक अ पैकेज कैसे परफॉर्म हो रहा है, सारे स्टेप्स वहां भी बना सकते थे. उसकी जगह सीक्वेंस डायग्राम भी बना सकते हो. डिपेंड्स व्हाट यू वांट टू शो. फाइन. So this finishes our sequence diagram. Sequence diagram से यहीं तक था. Okay, now after this, the last topic that is remaining is communication or collaboration diagram. Till this point will be your mid-sem syllabus. I think we will have 2 more next week में 2 classes और हैं. You have received any information regarding mid-sem? पास से ही है या postpone prepone ऐसा कुछ है? Because I haven't received any information, so I'm just following the academic calendar. Yeah, so I also don't have any information, so I think it will be from as per the academic calendar only. So it will be lab marks. I will evaluate Kshitij when I will get time. क्या जल्दी? It will. I will take time for that. And B2 students have their lab test tomorrow, right? So prepare for that. Okay. Your paper will be visible on your portal at 9. You will have 9 to 11 time. By 11:30, you should submit me. Okay. Each student of B1 has submitted on time the paper. सबने टेस्ट दिया था, सबने टाइम पे टेस्ट दिया है. So I hope the same thing will be followed by B2 also. Without visible, shall I start the communication diagram today? स्टार्ट करें, अगली क्लास में करना है? ठीक है, ज्यादा नहीं है वैसे कम्युनिकेशन डायग्राम. ओके, वी विल डू इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास. इट विल, you will have one more test before your midsem also. So if I will finish this communication diagram, अरे रुक जाओ उमर, कहाँ भगा कहाँ रहे हो तुम मुझे? I'm still here only. So if you finish the collaboration diagram in the next line on first, you will have one more test basically before your midsem. So when you want your test? When you want to give the test? Tell me a date. Uh, yeah, you can give on Saturday also. This Saturday or next Saturday? बस next Saturday तो third हो जाएगी ना. Fifth से exam होगा तो third को test तो नहीं लूंगा. Let's keep it this Saturday or Sunday, okay? Let's take a poll for that. रात में क्या आईपीएल देखोगे मोहम्मद? चलो, give your response based on your opinion. We will decide. काटी की टक्कर चल रही है तो I think majority is with Sunday. Okay, majority is with Sunday, clearly visible. Okay, so Sunday we will have the test, and I think I will schedule it from 6 to 7. 6 to 7 will be fine, right? मैच तो 7 से शुरू होगा ना, उसके बाद देख ले. Sunday afternoon will not be fine. ठीक है, क्या नो सर? What they mean? 5 to 6. हाँ, 5 to 6 also I can schedule. चलो मॉर्निंग में शेड्यूल कर दूंगा, फ्रॉम 10 to 11 दे दो. उठना है संडे को 10 बजे. 10 to 11 फाइन संडे. Okay, so 10 to 11 I will. So now before 7:30 you are talking about evening, I think, right? So I will schedule it in the morning. Okay, Sunday 10 to 11. Fine everyone, किसी को issue है कोई time से? So syllabus will be till this point. Okay, till sequence diagram will be your syllabus. Okay, just prepare for it, everything from the starting. Just observe the test pattern, because the same pattern you are going to get for your midsem also. It's not decided yet, but अगर multiple choice questions ही होने, so that will be the same quiz. राज, multiple choice questions होंगे जैसे हुआ था पहला टेस्ट, वैसे ही होगा same. See, the basic thing and the first thing that you all have to do is जो क्लास में पढ़ा है उतना पढ़ो. क्लास में मैं हर चीज से ज्यादा ही पढ़ा रहा हूँ, है ना? So you, the first priority that you should give is what you are doing in the class. This PPT I will upload. You watch the recorded lessons if you have forgot everything. Okay, just read the PPTs right from the सारी PPTs uploaded है, from your basics of OAD till this sequence diagram. PPT पढ़ते टाइम कुछ भूल जाओ, वीडियो खोल एक बार फिर से देख लेना. This is the first thing that you should do, everyone. Questions will be from this. Okay, the question that I am going to ask will be from this only. क्योंकि जो क्लास में पढ़ा है वही I am going to ask. So the first priority should be to read the PPTs and understand everything. कुछ भूल जाओ PPT पढ़ते टाइम तो recorded lessons है आपके पास, just watch that. फाइन, सो दिस इज द फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी दैट यू शुड डू. इसके बाद मैंने कुछ एक्स्ट्रा रिसोर्सेस करके भी बना रखा है ब्लैक बोर्ड पे. यू कैन लुक एट दैट बट ओनली व्हेन यू कंप्लीट दिस whatever we have done in the class. इसके बाद ही वहां जाना, पहले नहीं जाना है. Fine, and read everything properly. Understand the concepts because there will be questions regarding incorrect and correct statements. So to identify them, you have to be very clear with the things. Fine. और कोई डाउट, किसी को कुछ पूछना है? Okay, then thank you. You can go. Okay, we will meet. अच्छा, इस वीक तुम्हारी क्लास भी नहीं है कोई? मतलब पहले 3 दिन में क्लासेस खत्म हो जाती है हम लोग की. ओके, सो वी विल मीट ऑन नेक्स्ट मंडे. B2 का तो कल टेस्ट है. चलो, थैंक यू.